So today we'll discuss classification of algae. In our previous session, we discussed about the general feature of algae, and also we discussed the economic importance of the algae. So today we'll be discussing the classification of algae. So algae are divided into three major classes. Algae are divided into three major classes, and they're divided into three major classes depending upon their pigments. So what are the three major classes? They are chlorophyceae, commonly known as green algae. Number two, phaeophyceae. Brown algae. Number three, rhodophyceae, commonly known as red algae. Okay, so let us first discuss chlorophyceae, which are commonly known as green algae. So the first one is chlorophyceae. Okay, so let us discuss its general feature. The general feature includes the habitat, the plant body, the pigments, the cell wall composition, stored food. So these are the general features. So let us discuss one by one. Okay, so habitat. They are found in freshwater, brackish water, and marine water. Okay, so they are available in all kind of water bodies, and the plant body may be, so now come to plant body. This plant body may be unicellular or colonial or filamentous. So I have already discussed this colonial, what is filamentous form. So I am not repeating this one. Then now come to the pigments. The pigments are the chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Okay, and that's why they are green. That's why they are green in color. Okay, now the chloroplast, they are having chlorophyll pigment inside the chloroplast. So the chloroplast is of varied shape. So shape of the chloroplast. Okay, the shape, it may be cup shaped. Okay, this may be spiral, this may be ribbon shaped, it may be discoid, means disc shaped, or it may be plate like, or it may be reticulate, like a branched network like. Okay, so they may be cup shaped like this. Okay, or spiral shaped. Okay, or ribbon shaped, or discoid, disc की तरह होता है. Then they may be plate like, and reticulate means reticular, branched. Okay, now next come to a special structure. They have a special structure inside the chloroplast. This is very important, children. That is pyrenoid. Okay. So this is a special structure inside the chloroplast. Okay. Which contains, very important, children, proteins and starch. So these pyrenoids are the storing bodies. You can say they store the food in the form of protein and starch. So what is their function? So storage of food. So I'm just highlighting this one. This pyrenoid is very, very important, children. This may come as your 2 marks question. Now, these this protein and starch are stored in the form of the pyrenoids. Now, the other stored foods are starch and oil droplets. Okay, the oil droplets are not present in all algae. They are present in some algae. Now come to the cell wall. The cell wall is it consists of 2 layers. So inner layer is cellulose layer and outer is pectose layer. Very important, children. So inner is cellulose and outer is pectose. Okay. So this is the cell wall composition of chlorophyce. Now come to the reproduction. Okay. Now the reproduction, as you know that we have already discussed, almost all algae reproduce by 3 methods, that is vegetative, asexual and sexual. So vegetative, so the reproduction is vegetative. So vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation. Okay, and then asexual reproduction by your flagellated zoospores. So these zoospores are motile because they have flagella. Okay. Now the sexual reproduction is 3 types, that is isogamy, anisogamy and oogamy. In my previous session, I have already discussed what is isogamy, anisogamy and oogamy. So now come to the examples, some common examples. Some members are Chlamydomonas, Volvox, Elothrix, Spirogyra and Cara. So these are the examples given in your textbook. Okay. So you can see that these besides these some other organisms or other algae are also there, and you know the structure of Spirogyra. The Spirogyra is like this. They have spiral chloroplasts. Okay, they have spiral chloroplast like this, and they are having the pyrenoids. So these are the Pyrenoids. What are pyrenoids? Pyrenoids are the special structure inside the chloroplast that contains protein and starch. So here you can see these are the chloroplast. The spiral chloroplasts are there, and in the chloroplast the pyrenoids. So these dark spots are the pyrenoids. Okay. Then the common example also includes your chlamydomonas. The chlamydomonas is like this. The structure is, I'm just giving you the rough diagram. So they're having flagella, and this is chlamydomonas. Then next come to your volvox. I have already discussed volvox. They are colonial forms. Okay. And then what else? Your lothrix, and your cara is also there. So these are the some of the chlorophyceae. Now come to the next group, that is other one is phaeophyceae. The second one is phaeophyceae, okay, which are commonly known as brown algae. They are commonly known as brown algae. Okay, so let us first discuss the general feature. They're mostly marine. Mostly marine, and their size ranges from filamentous form to huge kelp. I have already told you what are kelp. The kelp are the brown algae having height of 200 meter. Okay, and they are marine, and they have the pigments. What are the pigments they are having? They have chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C. Remember, C, not B. The next is carotenoid, and fucoxanthin. So the brown color is because of this fucoxanthin. This is very important, children. So the brown color is due to this fucoxanthin. Okay, that's why they are known as brown algae. Now, what are the stored food materials? Stored food. The food are stored as laminarin and mannitol. So these are type of carbohydrates. The next come to the cell wall. Cell wall is made up of cellulose, and they have a cell wall. It consists of cellulose and algin is the gelatinous outer layer. Okay, so cellulose is the inner layer, and algin is the gelatinous outer layer. Okay, now the plant body, here this is one more important thing. The plant body has three parts: hold fast, then stipe, and frond. Okay, so what are the hold fast? Hold fast are, you can say, these are the structures similar to that of the root which anchors the algae to the rocks. So hold fast anchors the algae to rock. Okay, and this type is a stem like portion, and then frond is the leaf like photosynthetic part. This is the leaf like photosynthetic part. Okay, so let me show you one diagram. Suppose I am taking laminaria. The common examples are laminaria, fucose, dictyota. So any one I can take. So okay, so if this is the okay, this is the structure of laminaria, a brown algae. So it is having this part is this portion. This portion is the holdfast, by which it remains attached to the substratum. कोई भी चट्टान हो तो उसमें attached रहता है. Then you can see this stalk is known as stipe, and this portion is photosynthetic. This is called frond, which is photosynthetic. Okay. Now come to the reproduction. So here also same, reproduction takes place by vegetative method. Vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation. Okay, and asexual reproduction by biflagellate zoospores. In all the three cases, the zoospores are the asexual spores. But here the characteristics, let me tell you, these zoospores are pear-shaped. They are pear-shaped and they have two unequal lateral flagella. Okay, so ये जो है आपका this is the asexual spores are like they are pear shaped like this. Okay, and they are having one small two unequal lateral flagella are there. Okay, then sexual reproduction. So this is vegetative, asexual, then sexual. Sexual reproduction, same. It can be isogamous or anisogamous or oogamous. Okay. Now come to the examples. The examples includes ectocarpus, dictyola, then laminaria, sargassum, and fucus. Okay, so these are some of the examples which are given in your textbook. Okay, now come to the third group, that is rhodophyceae. and they are commonly known as red algae. Okay, now come to the general feature. They are mostly marine. Okay, and they're abundant in warm seas. Okay, warm seas and deep ocean waters. Okay, now come to the pigments, because this is the basis on which they are classified, the stored food and the pigments. So now come to the pigments. The pigments are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll D. Remember, chlorophyll D. In chlorophyll C, chlorophyll AB. In brown algae or Phaeophyceae, chlorophyll A and C, and in Rhodophyceae, chlorophyll A and D. And the most important is your phycoerythrin. So this is the red pigment. So this provides red color to the algae. This is very important. Now come to the plant body. Is mostly multicellular, and they have very high complex organization. Now come to the stored food. The stored foods is very important. Fluoride starch. The stored food is fluoride starch. Now the cell wall. Now come to the cell wall. Contains cellulose, pectin, and polysulfate esters. Okay, so these are the composition of the cell wall. Now come to the reproduction. Reproduction is again same. Here vegetative by fragmentation, okay, then asexual by non-motile. Here remember, these are non-motile. Non-motile. Previously it was biflagellated zoospore, but these are non-motile spores. And sexual reproduction is only oogamous. Okay, remember, sexual reproduction is only oogamous, and the gametes are non-motile. Okay, and now come to the examples. The examples are Polysiphonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria. Already we have discussed about the economic importance of Gracilaria. Gracilaria and Gelidium. Okay, so these are the examples of Rhodophyceae. So this is all about the classification of the algae. Okay, and besides that, children, you can go through the table. There is a table given in your textbook, where there is a comparison among the chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae and rhodophyceae. So you can go through that. That is the summary of this algae. So with this, your algae topic is over. So uh, in the next session, we will be discussing bryophyta. Okay, that is the bit complex than the algae. They who are having the root like, stem like and leaf like structures, but not exactly the root, stem and leaves. So till then, children, please make the note, and I hope it will be very much clear to you. So till then, bye bye, thank you.